Girl, I know what you're talking about. So anyway,
Hey guys, this is Tasha,
and this is Brina.
and this is Us on Reality. Right now, we're going to talk about Ready to Love, Season 7, Episode 8. Nair.
Man in the hair.
When I saw that title, I said, surely that's not true. These are Black people. We don't play with stuff like that. I was thinking, is it a typo? Maybe they was writing something about hair in there. Anyway.
Yeah. So in this episode, the women had to introduce their current interest to their exes. Let me tell you what I thought about this, and then I'm going to ask you, okay? Tommy's little intro where, oh, you can meet with your exes and then they can let your nude boos or whatever he said know something about you. And he really set it up like it was smart, but I was like, this is for ratings. That's dumb.
They do this every season.
I hear you on that, but I'm just saying the premise of having your ex around a current boo is stupid. It's not healthy. It's rarely ever good, except for in situations where people have to figure out how to co-parent, and people that are able to pull that off, beautiful. But in most situations, it doesn't go down well, introducing an ex to the new one. It's not good. So I was like, this is for ratings.
Maybe.
You think that's a good idea?
No, I think it's stupid. But I think it's entertaining.
Right. And it is entertaining, and that's why it's on the show. But Tommy tried to put a nice little gift bow on it, like, this is such a good idea. It's going to help your new relationship. We were talking about exes.
Yeah.
So the first date was with Morgan and her ex, Junior.
Morgan invited out Tony and Lyndon to meet her ex, Junior. Thoughts?
I really loved how Lyndon greeted this man. It was respectful, but chill, not putting on. I don't think Tony even acknowledged him. From what I recall seeing, I don't remember seeing Tony saying hi to the ex.
It was very brief. He said, he's kind of just like, what's up, Tony? You know, like, hey, what's up, Tony? Brief. You know, he has to stay cool.
Exactly. So I felt like they were having a decent enough conversation before Tony got there. And then, you know, Tony's just awkward. But the thing that stood out the most in this date,
girl,
Morgan. So this is what I got from what the story that her ex shared, right? He said he went out. Morgan didn't know where he was. He came home to their shared space, it sounds like, and he just went to sleep. And then in his sleep,
he showered.
Okay, that's right. Because she supposedly got mad that he showered.
No, she got mad that he shampooed his hair. She was saying, I told you not to shampoo your hair.
Yeah, and what is that about?
I don't know.
So, okay, you're right. So, right. So he was saying she was upset that he showered and shampooed his hair. And so he was like, while he was sleeping, he kept feeling something, discover in the morning that this woman had put Nair in his hair because she knows how gorgeous it is.
Yeah.
She didn't blink. She didn't look embarrassed. She didn't look ashamed. She looked justified by her actions. And even when she was recounting the story again to Tommy, he was like, what now? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, girl, where is your shame?
The girls' faces when that was revealed in the women's lounge was like, now, you know, we do better than that. You know what? This is what I'm going to say.
That's some dummy high school stuff.
That's not even high school. That's psychotic.
And yes, accurate.
You're not supposed to leave Nair on that long. So what it sound like to me, he said that she kept rubbing my head while I was sleeping, but I was sleeping.
He was massaging it in. Yeah.
And so she obviously did not rinse it out. Right? So he slept all night with Nair on his head. You don't leave Nair on that long. He could have had scars or something on his head or had a chemical reaction to that, which he should have. I mean, we used to, we've Naired our legs and stuff under. that stuff is not supposed to be meant to leave on for a long period of time. He slept
Right.
in, he's probably bald when he woke up. There's one thing that you can be angry. Okay, you can be angry. But I don't think that you should go to that extreme for sure, especially on a suspicion. You don't even know if that's what
Especially because they had an agreement that they weren't even serious. They were just friends.
that should be one. And she even said that too, that was what she said. He is the one that wanted to make it serious, and she said no. Why
So
are
that's
you?
why I said with her whole, oh, I've never been in love. Morgan, your emotions and the way you're behaving seems like you're unstable.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that in that case, it is a red flag because what has prevented you from falling in love? And it's this stuff like that. This
Mm-hmm.
man wanted to be serious with you. You turned him down, even though you say you're looking for a husband. And then you got so jealous you put Nair in his hair. Like, what are you doing? And was proud of her behavior. What are you doing?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So it wasn't, I think it was at the end of that date, Lyndon was like, I really like Morgan, but I gotta kind of be cautious.
100% you have to be cautious. And if they're not cautious of the Nair, they need to be cautious. This man, so her, what was her guys, the ex's name? Junior.
Junior.
Asked each Lyndon and Tony what they liked about Morgan. She then turned and asked Junior what he liked about her. Are y'all trying to get back together? Like, it's very much, and Tony picked up on that. It's very much, he was like, I don't think that Morgan is being very honest about her feelings with Junior. It seems like, there may still be something there. And
I
it
think
did.
there's definitely still something there. Y'all were casual, but you got this mad at him. And this man still decided to come on this TV show for you?
3 years ago. Because,
Right.
notice hair has grown back.
His hair is gorgeous. But it's just like, what else is going on there to where he felt comfortable enough after that kind of altercation and he came on this show for you? And he was cool. Like, he was one of the nicer guys.
He was one of the nicer exes. He was.
Morgan is not ready to love. That's what she's doing.
Not. Maybe she's ready to love Junior. I feel like she's not very confident in herself.
Mm-mm.
And it shows up in everyone.
It's evident. Mm-hmm.
So we have the next date. Cynthia invited out.
Cynthia's ex was a mess.
Girl, Cynthia invited out Andre and Anthony to meet her ex, James. First, when I saw this man, I was like, he got Cynthia?
Girl, when I saw this man, I said, Cynthia, really? But she did say he was the father of her children. So I'm like, how old are her kids? How many? Like, that was some years ago.
Yeah, you're right. I was about to say, you're true. Yeah, but I thought that was doing way too much.
James was trying to get likes. Come on, James. You're not okay. He was a lot, and we'll get to his interaction with Andre. But the thing that I want to hit on for a second about him being a lot is he sat there and asked Anthony something about Anthony said that he has a daughter, and he was like, oh, how come it didn't work out with you and the mother of your child? How come it didn't work out with you and Cynthia, bro?
Right.
What are you doing? You're not a friend that's on here looking out for her. You're her ex.
Yeah. And the way that, and I feel like Andre was like honestly trying to be very respectful and answer all of the It would not have mattered at all how Andre answered them. This man was ready for a rebuttal. He had a rebuttal ready for no matter what either of them were saying.
He wanted to try and tear them apart.
Yes. Yeah. He asked Andre, how come you haven't had children until now? So that's why Andre went into talking about how successfully he was. I didn't ask you that. Well, you kind of did, because you asked me, how come I haven't had kids yet? And I'm explaining.
Yeah, I've been working focused on my business. That's why. Yeah, he was just trying to get under their skin. And I think he didn't like Andre from the moment when he saw Andre walk up.
Yep.
He looked, to me, he looked hella insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Like he saw something in Andre that made him feel something, and he decided to really jump down his neck.
He was just poking him the whole time.
Yeah.
Cynthia felt that way as well.
Yeah, she was just like, oof. But I did really enjoy Anthony's response where he was like, take my number. I gotta go. Take my number because I'm not going nowhere. So we can get in touch. And Anthony's like, I get it. You're the father of her kids. So if I do end up with this woman, you're going to be in my life.
Yeah. And
so let's talk.
And you can't he also said you can't give an approval to me right away. What kind of sense does that make? I would be around your children. We just met each other. How can you say that?
And I was like, facts.
Yeah.
Anthony gets it. Yeah.
Right.
I think that Andre got really upset, and I think rightfully so. But I don't think that should have eliminated Andre.
No. But I mean, that we're taking James's perspective, which we're not counting as anything.
No.
Hated it.
Yeah.
The beginning of the season, like we were having a hard time remembering Anthony's name, but if he didn't show up nowhere else, he showed up on these dates today. Okay? He showed whenever they went across talking, when Tommy gave them the assignment of, they had to introduce their connections to their exes. She stayed back, talked to Tommy and said that her exes were not a part of the children's lives.
Yeah.
So she felt comfortable bringing them into this experiment just for that, which was completely understandable. Why would you bring in some man who can't even be a part of his kid's life to get input on who you should add to their lives? Like that makes
exactly. I don't blame her.
So Tommy just told her to invite her connections out and explain the situation to them. So she invited out Blue and Mark.
And when we first saw that, I was like, where's Andre? But then we saw him later.
What do you think about how Jeffrey delivered the information to them?
I understood what she was saying. And to me, it sounds like she's made up her mind and that's what she's going to do. Mark Anthony seemed like, he always receives her so well. Yes. He seemed very receptive. He seemed like understanding. Seemed like he respected her choice. Blue to me seemed apprehensive, and he seemed like he thought Jeffrey was hiding something.
He did.
Yeah.
He wasn't here for it. He wasn't here for that.
Which on one hand, I'm like, okay, he's probably thinking like, you don't have no other reputable exes other than them that she could have brought out. But she said that one from high school was 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years.
And if he's now just left his children's lives, I don't blame her. I wouldn't reach out to him for this show either. Yeah. But I don't know. I know this wasn't next, but just because we're talking about Jeffrey, can we talk about her and Andre's date? Yeah. I loved her and Andre's date. His apartment was nice. I love how he plated that food for her, and that food looked bomb.
He said it was restaurant quality.
It looked good. And I loved how she took that bite like, I'm not taking a big bite, but then they were like really eating later. And their kiss looked real, and I was there for their kiss.
It did, yeah, it did.
I like that.
They were like looking into each other's eyes first. Very sweet, very cute.
Yeah, and sitting out on his balcony, I was like, girl, yes, that seems nice.
So nice.
Yeah, I like them together.
I think it was very cute that at the end of their date that Jeffrey answered, like they obviously asked her, where does she think her connection with Andre is at this point? And she said, when are we getting married?
Yeah.
I like that phrase. I feel like Andre could be really compassionate as a stepfather. Since we wrap up Jeffrey, then we can go to Marcia. She had invited out Blue and Tony to meet her ex, Mark.
I was not expecting Marcia's ex. I was like, oh, that's an interesting fit. What you think?
Mama said, if you don't really have anything nice to say.
Okay. He seemed nice though.
It did seem nice. This is the guy that had like the braids or dreads or whatever.
With Marcia,
Mm-hmm.
girl,
Which
no. This man looked like a full accountant. He had glasses and like a blue polo and just like the nerd style glasses. Like not even like they fit your face and that like it's a good look on you, but just like these help me see better.
oh, that's awful, dude. Oh my God, that's horrible. Oh man, that's so mean to say. Dear God, you did it with the voice too?
Did you not think that?
Oh,
Did you not think that?
Mama said if you don't have anything nice,
Okay. Anyway, so
mm,
seeing Marcia's ex was unexpected.
was
Yeah. And so like you said, she took out Blue and Tony,
Tony, yeah.
which I appreciated what her ex had to say
Mm,
about both of them.
mm,
And I just, like I said before, Marcia's person is not here. He seemed to have good insight, I feel like, on both of them. He was like, Tony seems more passionate and like more involved, but also how do you know what he's saying is genuine? He was like, and Blue seemed very laid back, but like he's not putting in enough effort. And like, yeah, Blue was kind of just like, the same way he was whenever Jeffrey was talking.
yep.
However, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just agreeing.
So, however, I have another feeling on that. I don't blame Blue. How long has this been going on? How long have you been supposedly dating these people?
Mm.
He doesn't know them.
Mm-mm.
So I'm on the other hand, whenever somebody's like, I don't know if it was Tony, it was Tony. So when they were on that date, they were talking about, well, who's in your top? And Blue was like, I have two, like they're even. And then he even said in his confessional, he was like, I don't have one and two, I have two twos. And I'm still trying to figure it out. And
Yeah.
Tony was like, it's too far in to be figuring it out. And I was like, but is it? In reality, how many weeks has it been?
But no, I think that I liked that they both kind of backed each other up on that. Most everybody, we're not supposed to be to where you've made your choice yet. The show's not over. So you having two twos is good. And I like the way that Blue is looking at that, because if somebody's number one, I understand what Blue is saying. He doesn't want to make a huge choice or anything like that just yet. But but I feel like Marcia's ex pretty much described them just who they are. Tony is a lot. Tony does do a lot. He's aggressive. That's his personality. Blue is chill. We know these things. So I feel like really give her any more insight. She already knows what it is. Like we keep saying, these women keep trying to draw things out of these men that they're not willing to give.
But I also feel like sometimes you can say something to somebody and it's amazing, but they don't hear you. But then let somebody else, for some women, I've noticed when a man says it, they hear it different. So perhaps her hearing her ex say that and also saying, but I'm worried about how genuine Tony is, but I'm worried if Blue's gonna fight more. Like, I feel like that just hit different and she heard it different, even though it's been apparent these last few weeks.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
It was surprising to me that he liked Tony more, because usually that's not the vibe we're getting from Tony. Like, but I like that he just kind of accepted him for what he saw and who he was. And he was like,
did he like Tony more, or was he just saying this is what I see in them?
Maybe that's what he was doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he was saying he liked him more. I don't think he was, but who knows? But then it was Mercedes, and she took out Mark Anthony and Anthony. Right? Mercedes' ex was the one with the braids.
His name was Armand.
Was it, girl? Oh, that's funny.
Oh, well,
I think it was funny that he said Mark Anthony seemed like a playboy, or like he said he has good answers, but like he's not fully there yet. And I was just like, yeah, that's what I've been seeing from Mark Anthony from the beginning. That's what the other ladies in the lounge have been saying about Mark Anthony. And that's why I feel like I don't think he's being fake with Jeffrey. but I feel like he wants to present a certain way. And so he's putting it out there, but he's not there yet.
Well, I feel like he kind of said that too, because I think that, or Mercedes ex asked them something about like what is important to you, or and Mark Anthony said something like, well, first I have to be comfortable in myself or have myself straight, pretty much I bring myself into a situation or want to take on a situation, something in the lines of that. So it's like he understands that.
Yeah.
And I am really thinking that he is wanting some type of connection with someone. But maybe I feel like when you come on Ready to Love, you're supposed to be looking for a spouse. And I feel like some of these people are coming on here just looking for a good relationship.
Yeah. And I can see Mark Anthony just looking for a good relationship. And
Yeah.
not like that's not good, but I just don't think that he just doesn't hit me as like, and especially being juxtaposition against Anthony.
Yeah. It's difficult. Hard. You can't compare those two because Anthony's been married before. Another thing that I thought, Anthony's knocking folks out of the ballpark on these dates. I don't know if he used a different type of beard oil that gave him like a whole nother aura of, confidence and being able to, it's probably like a kente oil.
Okay. So, Mercedes ex really liked Anthony.
Yep.
And I don't think he like was anything negative against Mark Anthony, but he was just like, the dude just doesn't seem ready.
Yeah. He didn't. Yeah. Well, next we have Sue-Ann's date, where she invited out Blake and again Anthony to meet her ex, Paul.
Sue-Ann looked like that. Sue-Ann's ex looked like someone that I'm like, I could see her with him.
Yeah, because I think she's dorky too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was very surprised, and this speaks to Anthony's like, what do you want to say? Speaks to Anthony's
persona.
I don't know, but it's not intelligence, like the way he carries himself. To hear that he was the eldest of 10 kids,
girl.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Yeah,
that puts him in a whole different level because I don't know anyone that's the eldest of that many kids that's immature.
I mean, I don't know how you could be.
You're not, because your parents probably depend on you so much, and not like neglectfully or like parentifying you, but like it just happens. You have all these kids, like they need some help and you know what to do.
You was grown. Boom. You came out grown.
He came out with that beard.
Yeah, he came out with that beard. Instead of bottles,
girl, because the oldest of 10, I was like, dang.
That's a lot. What did Sue-Ann's ex really have to say? Oh, I see. What did you have?
Girl, you go. I don't remember this date.
It's all simultaneously, the last 3 dates. So they didn't think good either.
Right.
So have as much juice. Mercedes, Sue-Ann, and Marcia, all 3 of their dates were aired simultaneously. They kept going back and forth to them, letting us know there was no real content there, whether we wanted to find it or not. But Sue-Ann's ex ended up saying that, of course, everybody loved Anthony. Anthony was his favorite. And he said that Blake, he could see he was ungenuine. Come on, Sue-Ann. Now you have someone that you know well, pointing it out.
Blake, again, seemed very rehearsed. He seemed like he's like sitting on the edge of his seat, ready to say what he has to say. And it's just like, yeah, I get it. You want to impress her ex because you like her. But like, I think it was in this episode, which made me think back to the thing I heard on social media that I mentioned in the last video, was if it's out there, okay, this is coming out when it airs, so that's not the point. So, okay, if this woman that made the social media post has told people about Blake in the past, then there's a good chance that he has a reputation. So what if he came on this show to represent himself? And so every time Jeffrey pops off and says something, he's like, no, no, no. So he can look refined and dignified. And so at one point he said, I'm doing what I came on here to do. And I was like, what's that, Blake? Because everyone keeps saying you're a jerk and you're an a-hole. And Sue Ann's the only person that likes you. So what did you come on here to do? To show that you can hold yourself back? What are you doing? After Sue Ann's date with Blake and Anthony, and her ex clearly loved Anthony over Blake. Then we have the ladies back in Tommy's lounge. Girl, did Morgan have on a diamond-studded bra? Did you see that?
I don't know. She had a bra.
It looked like she had on a blazer, and then it was like this. It was like diamonds under here, and like the blazer kind of fell like this, so you could just see this and then the diamonds. And I was like, "Girl, did she got something on?"
Ladies Lounge, how Tommy went around and got every woman's perspective on how their dates with their exes went. I feel like everybody gave a really good description as far as it can't, like the way that they presented it aired is exactly called it. Like nobody did anything crazy, like, oh, that's not exactly, and that's not how it came across. Everybody dates as they were aired.
That's I noticed that too. Because like once again, Morgan Forley shared her nair in the hair situation with no shame.
She's not bothered by it. And I like how Tommy just kind of was like, and then just went on, because I'm not about to tell you why it's wrong, girl. You're 38. So that was 3 years ago. You did that when you were 35. It was okay. In your mind.
And you wonder why you haven't been in a real relationship. And that was another thing that Morgan said before her date. She said she invited Junior because out of all her past ex, he was the less superficial one. And I was just like, Morgan, you've had this many superficial relationships, and somebody that you put nair in their hair is the least superficial one. That right there shows she doesn't know how to be in a relationship. She doesn't know how to talk through stuff. She doesn't know how to express her emotions, and she doesn't know how to emotionally regulate. So I'm just like, what are you doing?
Oh, then we get up to elimination. Yeah. So we've used all of our safes.
Girl, I don't know what they doing.
I don't know how.
Jeffrey liked blue. Marcia liked blue.
But
and they get rid of him?
It was time. We're getting real in the ladies' lounge.
Over Blake?
We're not gonna talk about Blake. It's getting real in the ladies' lounge. And was like, you have to think about you. Remember, because Jeffrey was like, I don't really want to say blue. Marcia was feeling some type of way because of her date. She didn't feel like he really showed up the way that she wanted. And so that's why she put him down. But Jeffrey wasn't ready to do that just yet. But Tommy was like, it's about you. Can you see your relationship with Blue? She said no.
Right.
Well, then we need to keep this man around.
Right.
They were the only two.
That's true. But I just think, okay, so that's a point. And I just think Blake keeps getting in the bottom, but he keeps getting saved. And I'm like, well, because Sue Ann really, really, really likes him. Whereas the other people that have been sent home, nobody really, really, really liked them. So I'm like, of course you got sent home. Like, what's his name? DeMario got sent home after Corvea got sent home. That was the only person keeping him alive. And he got sent home immediately after. So I'm like, that's what's happening. Sue Ann is really batting 1,000 for Blake. She's like, y'all, that's my only connection. Don't get rid of him. Blue didn't seem bothered to me that they said they didn't think he's ready to love. He was just like, okay.
Yeah, he's not. And I agree with what they're saying. He wasn't really putting himself out there. But I just feel like He probably would have if he felt like there was somebody worth him putting himself out there for.
Mhm.
He just maybe it's just like
Mhm.
Joni, my person's just not here.
Yeah, and good for both of them for not just phoning it in and for
Mm.
being like, I mean, I'm cool, I'm open, I'm cordial, but y'all aren't feeling it because it's not here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
what.
And then Blake and Sue Ann basically just had another date because they're the only ones that like each other. So this week the ladies decided to get rid of Blue. Very unsurprising, surprising. I don't know. So next week we'll come back and we'll see what's going on then. We just want to say thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.